My name is Brittany. I'm the Director of Events and Programming here at the Deck, and I'm happy to welcome you today to the Deck, whether it's your first time or you are a repeat attendee for 1 Million Cups. We love having you here. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. This is one of our favorite things to do. Consistently every Wednesday at 9 a.m. we hear from 2 entrepreneurs, and we're happy to have them here today. A couple of things coming up. Today, we'll start with today. At 11:45 a.m., Vale of Wood, a law firm, will be here for legal help. It's kind of an open Q&A, lunch and learn for startups. So we like to say, get fed and get help. So, we like those two things in the startup world. So stick around, keep networking, and then it'll be 11:45 before you know it. And stick around for Vale of Wood. They're very helpful. They love doing this kind of thing. Next Tuesday is Startup Grind Dallas. Startup Grind is a global initiative. We're part of 200 cities in 85 countries that has a Startup Grind once a month. It's just a simple fireside chat with an entrepreneur. They'll talk to you about their wins, their failures, their journeys. It's all very interesting. 2 hours, you'll get fed again. We know it's part of what brings people back. So be sure to look for those invitations for next Tuesday at 5:30, Startup Grind. And one last thing, some of you who come often, you know that at the Deck we give standing ovations for everyone who comes on the stage. So since we have a few empty chairs today, you're going to have to make a lot of extra noise when presenters come on stage. So please keep that in mind. Pitching is not an easy thing to do, so please be extra supportive, and we appreciate that. So here is your time to practice your first standing ovation for Christy, who's going to present the pitchers. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. Thank you so much for joining us again this Wednesday morning. We'd like to give some recognition to our vendors. Thank you, Shade Tree Coffee, for giving us our coffee. Round of applause for Shade Tree. Round of applause for Kurtu for keeping us sweet tooth. So like Brittany mentioned, we do give standing ovations for each of our presenters. Oh, I have one more thing to mention. After our 1 Million Cups session is over, Emmanuel, can you raise your hand? He will be giving a tour of the space that we are in, the Deck. So feel free to stick around and check out what they have to offer, what the space has to offer. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on. And so now, let's go ahead and stand up and give Angel from Nawkr a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello? Okay. I think I'm moving this way. Wait. Okay, I'll watch my movement. Okay.
Try.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, so, no, that's not good. Well, let's stay here. Okay, is this, everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay. My name is Angel Armendariz. I'm co-founder of Nawkr. Before I get to Nawkr, just a quick story. About 2.5 years ago, I discovered an app called Tinder. And at the time, I was obviously single. And so when I encountered this app, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. Because basically, for those of y'all who haven't used it, you basically download the app onto your phone and you can start seeing single people around you. And it's easy to have a date or connect with somebody and go out and that kind of thing. So I thought it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I've been on dating sites before, but I thought this app in particular was actually pretty fascinating. 2 months later, I actually met this amazing girl on Tinder. A year later, I proposed to that girl. And 8 months after that, we got married. And next month will be our 1 year anniversary, so Tinder success story for everybody. And this This is, oh, sorry. So that's our wedding picture. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is that Nawkr has been mentioned and talked about as the Tinder for everything else. And after I go through my presentation, you'll kind of find out why it's been called the Tinder for everything else. Tinder allows people that are near each other to connect. That's basically what it does. Very simply, that's basically its utility. Our mission is to connect people nearby with their community and everybody around them. Now, we've made some observations, went a little too far. We made some observations that led us to create the app. The first thing is that people are very curious and social by nature. We always wonder who is around us and what they do. For example, now here, some of y'all might know each other, but others don't. But we're curious as to, I wonder what he does, I wonder what she does, I wonder who they are. We're just naturally curious. Also, we realize that we're always seeking to build our network beyond our current friends and family. That's just what people do. We have to do it. It's just human nature. And the third observation is that when people move or relocate, their network seems to suffer. So if you went to school outside of where you grew up, all of a sudden there's a vacuum in your network. If you relocate for work, there's also a vacuum. All of a sudden you go to another city, you have to build your network. So these are problems that people have still, even though everybody's connected to a phone, there's still that gap of connectivity with each other. So this is a problem, the inability to connect to people nearby. So the problem exists currently. We have social networks, which is to connect people, and they do a good job of connecting friends and family. Facebook, LinkedIn, even Snapchat are basically applications to get everybody connected, friends and family, people you know. And the way you build that network traditionally, people you know, and then also if you go out and you network with people, you introduce yourself, you meet, and typically you exchange, like, add me on Facebook or add me on LinkedIn. That's traditionally how things are done. Now, the idea of what we have to connect people seems very natural, and it seems like somebody surely must be doing it. And there are applications that are doing it similarly to what Nawkr is doing. The first one I'd like to mention is Yik. They actually are a local message board. If any of y'all have used it, its premise is anonymity. So you can basically post things nearby, and it's within a certain location. The problem with anonymity is that there's no accountability. That leads to, if you've ever looked at Yik, vulgar content, bullying, things of that nature, because there's no accountability, you don't know who's doing what. So the solution is Nawkr. So Nawkr specifically is an app for your iPhone. You download Nawkr, you build your profile, tell a little bit about yourself, and you can choose ways you want to connect. There's 3 ways to connect. The 3 ways are by business, for academics, and for fun miscellaneous. And that's what the icons designate. So that's what that little image is right there. Now the reason it makes sense right now is technology, the ubiquity of smartphones, geolocation, and also trends. Airbnb, Uber, Tinder, you're connecting with people that you don't know. This is now normal. A stranger picks you up, you stay at a stranger's house, you just met somebody you're dating the same day. That's just the way the culture is moving. What do people think so far? We launched the app, we released it New Year's Eve, and we did a launch party January 29th. People are giving us good reviews so far. I try to connect with everybody that downloads the app, and you'll see some snapshots here of the conversations I've had with actual users, and I'll just read one really quickly if you can't read it. Wow, it's a great app. I moved here recently and I have to develop a whole new network. Super excited about the app. So we're getting some good feedback and we're listening and trying to connect with people that are using the app so we can improve it. The future of social networking with Nawkr, the way we envision it, let me just walk through a quick scenario of how it would work. So Ashley just moved to Dallas to go to SMU from California. She downloads Nawkr as she arrives. She doesn't have a network. She can browse profiles, and all of a sudden she found somebody that's also from California. She is able to connect by that person by tapping on the knock button of her profile. That person will receive notification that she wants to connect with her. If she accepts, at that point they can start chatting instantly on the app. So that's how quickly you can start building your network. For business, let's say Sam goes to London Heathrow Airport. He arrives for work, he sells software, he's looking for businesses to sell software to. He can easily bring up the Nawkr app and browse profiles and see if there's entrepreneurs, business owners, other people that are looking to connect, and he could easily see if there's somebody that might fit his product description of what he's looking to sell or do, and make new appointments. Now the plan, what we're looking to do within the next 6 months is we're obviously trying to grow. We're at growth stage. The first thing is we're trying to grow users, and obviously we're trying to increase engagement as well. And we're going to be doing that by targeting universities, urban areas as far as density of young professionals, events, festivals, and we're trying to get onto Android as well. So we're trying to, our goal is 100,000 users in 6 months. We haven't mentioned a couple of local media, Culture Map, Dallas Innovates, Dallas Morning News, and we did our launch party at Wild Detectives also. That's basically the presentation. My ask to you guys is to help us build the network, download the app, engage, use it, give us feedback. We're also looking for investors, which is our next step to grow and scale the business. And this slide is just some references that I have. I highly recommend the first article, which is called Engineering Serendipity, which is kind of a more cerebral, conceptual view of the idea. And they talk about what companies are doing to connect people serendipitously, because the whole premise is to connect through the network you don't know and make serendipitous connections. The other things are what I've written, and that is how you can contact me, and that is how you can follow us through the different social media platforms that we're also engaging in, because they're not mutually exclusive, they complement each other. So, questions?
Awesome. One more round of applause. Hello? Hear me? Awesome. Can you hear me? Hello? Yes? Okay. We're gonna open up the floor for questions. Please raise your hand high so that I can bring you the microphone. We are filming, so we want to make sure we capture every question on our tape.
How are you monetizing?
The typical way social networks monetize is by first making it a platform that people want to use. So we're following a traditional model. Reid Hoffman, who built LinkedIn, suggests that when a social platform is trying to be built, you focus first on users. The second thing, once you get a large amount of users seeing the utility of it, at that point you focus on engagement. And then after that, once you have those two steps, monetizing will be the next step after that. So once the users are on a platform, it's pretty easy, well not pretty easy, but there is a method and strategy to monetize. For example, it's based on geolocation. So if here within Dallas we have, let's say we get up to 10,000 users, right? A business would find value in being able to broadcast a message to those 10,000 users, or to being able to segment those users and provide a message. So broadcasting locally is one method that you can monetize. Also partnerships with local businesses and creating just the geolocation benefits. So right now when you go into your phone, you can easily connect with, you can find like a gas station, you can find coffee, things of that nature. I think that there is going to be a new wave to where whenever you're using a social platform, it makes it easier to connect with services. If you look at Facebook, for example, they recently, I don't know if it works yet, but they partnered with Uber to allow you to request an Uber from the messenger. So I think that's a step, but we're going to focus on local services.
You told some pretty good stories as it relates to the examples and trying to get us to understand the product. But you have a wide spectrum. So who do you think the target customer or target user is for Nawkr?
Well, the target user is basically people who use mobile phone on a continual basis. We're targeting university students. They're the first adopters to new social media platforms. The evolution of every social platform has typically been through that route. So college users, our initial market has been SMU, TCU, University of Dallas. We recently went out to, we were at South by Southwest, so UT Austin we started to get more students there, and Texas A&M is actually really on the service. So we're starting with university students, but when you start seeing the stories, people start downloading it and using it for other ways. So I understand that typically you want to focus on a very niche market, and that's the traditional wisdom. With social networks, that also is the case, and that's why we're targeting specifically first university students.
Got a question back here?
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about your team. It seems like you're the only one doing this. Can you please tell us more about your team?
I'm sorry, I
Your
didn't.
team. Your team members, like it seems like you're the only one doing this. Like your other team members, yeah.
Oh, team members, okay. My co-founder is my brother. So it's my brother and I currently.
Congrats on your success story and
Thank you.
romantic story as well. But for every success story like yourself, say on Tinder, there's also a bad date. There's also someone who flakes on you. There's someone who maybe creeps you out. People on your medium, how do you vet people on your medium? Make sure that they're legitimate. Make sure that they're not going to be knocking on your door and stalking you.
That's a good question. So yeah, there's a lot of creepers out there. So interestingly enough, when I was building the prototype, my wife brought that point up. And so the first thing, when you download the app, you can't download it unless you have Facebook or Instagram. So you have to log in through one of those methods. Right now, we don't have the resources to be very stringent on who's accepted, and that's why we decided to go that route. So not anybody with an email can log in. The accountability piece is huge as well, because you build your Facebook or Instagram profile, and that's how you get into the system to interact. Also, let's say that you do connect with somebody, let's say you knock and they mutually accept your knock and you start chatting, and you realize that person that you're talking to is a creep or scary or whatever, there's a block option in the chat messenger so that that person who you thought was normal, they will no longer be able to talk to you. So that's how we're dealing with that. You can also flag individual posts if there's something that you consider inappropriate. There's a flagging option so that we can remove it.
Hi, good presentation. Quick question on users. How many users do you currently have as of today? And then outside of the universities and festivals, how do you plan on scaling to 100,000 inside of 6 months?
We have about 1,200 users. And what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
How do you plan on scaling to 100,000 inside of 6 months?
So our plan, what we found, well, there's several things. The first part is with the actual user experience, user interface. We're going to make the process of building your account more frictionless. And we have brand ambassadors that are working at SMU, UT, and we're looking for somebody in Texas A&M. What we found is through the platform itself is a very convenient way for people to connect with us that want to help and promote the service. I found quite a few people that think it's a great idea, and they're like, yes, we needed something like this. So they are the ones who are working with us to help promote the app. So ideally, we want brand ambassadors to do it. We have done some marketing to initially seed it, and media as well, some PR to get it seeded, because that's the most difficult thing, is to get it seeded and get users. But we feel that the people that really get the vision and see the potential of it are going to want it for themselves and also to grow the business. So I'm glad that I found some awesome people through the app that are really gung-ho about helping me. I had people, when I went to South by Southwest, there was I met a girl on here that said, this is a great idea, I want to go promote it on the streets for you, and I was just kind of taken away. I'm like, she has no vested interest in it, yet she thought it was such a great idea, she wanted to hit the streets, signing people up. So I think that as we start building a brand and a better service, people will see the utility, and it'll be easier to get people on board and start building the bigger network.
Raise your hand high. Hold the mic up really close to your face.
Very close?
Yep.
This close?
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Great presentation. Quick question. You spoke about on the business side, how someone can get off the airport and find other contacts to either do business with or sell their product to. How do you intend to scale the app on that side? I hear a lot about the college side or the social side, how are the businesses going to get integrated into the app?
Well, the way I visualize it is I don't necessarily I'm not a huge fan of having a business necessarily promote their service on there. I want it to be more one-on-one. I want it to be person to person. So we do have businesses on there that are generating, that are connecting with other people that might want their service, but our focus is not necessarily to cater to the business. I think that people, especially younger people, are arm's length at being pitched things on a regular basis. So what we've seen, I think there's a handful of businesses that are on there. But it's mostly for entrepreneurs and people that are not necessarily, like you wouldn't see an AT&T on there that's trying to connect with people. It's mostly small businesses like a photographer, a local jeweler, the actual person that runs the business, any entrepreneur that's here. If you're looking for someone to help you with design, a coder, things of that nature, that's more of what we're focusing on, the individual. We want to make a connection person to person, and we want to make it easy for you to start chatting with somebody and then have coffee or lunch or whatever to make it mutually beneficial. So we're not necessarily focusing separately on students and then separately on business. It's more on people that are comfortable using mobile platforms. And because of that, university students are just more prone to use social media. They'll download anything and start using it and tell you what they really think. So that's kind of the idea.
Hold it really close.
It seems these days that apps are more specialized. Tinder now becoming, farmers, whatever, and it's going down. It
Yeah.
seems like you decided to revamp and come back to the actual app.
Yeah.
Was there any thought process behind that, or?
Well, the thought process, I've always been curious about serendipitous encounters. I think if everyone here can think about their history, where they are now, a lot of the relationships that they built are probably not you didn't deliberately seek this person out and you found them. A lot of times it was serendipitously by accident, setting in line, whatever the case may be. So the goal was to make it kind of a soup of people where things happen. It's just connections that will randomly occur, although in a curated fashion to where it's not completely random, there is some curation behind it. And I think that's the difference. The trends are going there, but I think the trend has gone a little too far. But there is also the trend of local services. And so you do see, for example, Uber Eats, now they have a separate app, things of that nature. So I understand that's the trend, but I think most of us would agree that we don't want to download a bunch of apps. So part of the long-term vision of the app is to bring local services on there. So if you're on Nawkr and you want something local, you want something from Favor, you want something from Uber, you want any local service, 5 Mile, whatever, you can directly go from there into one of those. So that's a more long-term vision, but that's the reason why we have it more less niche.
A couple years ago, I heard somebody pitch a similar type of app, and he found that the majority of his users were actually using the app for dating. So he quickly turned it into another dating app. So I'm wondering if you have anything set up in place to keep it from becoming just another dating app.
Well, I think that it's challenging to stop that because I don't really know if there was a method to do that. For example, back in the day, on MySpace, I used it for dating. It wasn't necessarily for that. And I think people use LinkedIn for dating. The funny thing is that people use Tinder for business. And so people have told me on here that they've been using Tinder to network. For example, even when I was on there, and it was still kind of an early app, photographer, I would match with a girl, and I'm like, okay, let's chat. And she'd like, I'm a photographer, like, you need pictures? So I think the utility of it is it's hard to really kind of create the path for users as to what they're going to do. But I think as we get more information, we will figure out what would be the best method to kind of try to make it more of connecting for everything else, because again, that's the idea.
Yeah. How much initial capital are you trying to raise? And can you tell me what percent of your company's initial valuation does that represent?
So initially, we're seeking to raise $500,000 for 10% of the company.
Raise your hand high. Any other questions? Okay.
So I have two questions. One is customer acquisition. How much is it costing you to acquire a new customer, new user?
Well, we don't have the exact data on that yet. That's part of the reason why we would like an in-house developer. The app was developed, it was outsourced to get it developed. We want an in-house developer and somebody that's more data-centric to help us analyze all that information. Our initial investment today is about $20,000 on build and user acquisition. A lot of it has been though with networking in Dallas, for example. When we released it, it was a New Year's Eve event. It was actually kind of last minute, 2 weeks before the app was ready. I wanted to figure out how to seed it, and all of a sudden I decided, why not just try to network uptown? People in uptown, it's a bunch of young professionals, a lot of college students also. So I came up with this idea, let's do a socially networked block party. And so what I did is I went to bars and lounges in uptown and said, hey, let's partner together. The app basically connects people that are nearby. So why don't you have people, let's promote the app here, have your customers download the app, and they can post what they're doing there, and it'll be broadcast to everywhere else. So I was able to get 10 different bars and lounges in uptown to come along with the plan, and that's how we initially actually seeded it. So that didn't require any capital, just people interacting. I'm going to add this value to you, and you're going to add value back by contributing to the launch, and that's where we actually got our first PR with Culture Map. So that didn't cost anything. It was just a matter of trying to show how the utility of the app can be beneficial to businesses. Now, they weren't promoting anything on the app, but their clients could, and that was kind of the idea, and it worked well.
And the last question is about the business. You kind of say that you were focused on one-on-one connection. I think that is not going to scale very well, right? I mean, brands are going to want to display as many users as possibly can. There is no way that you can kind of blast all the users that are, I don't know, 20 miles from that location, from a restaurant or whatever it might be. I think that one-on-one is going to kind of limit your options in the business.
I see what you're saying. I think it can be limited. I think when you dig a little deeper, you can see, for example, if you were to dissect or segment our current users, just kind of the way Facebook does. If you run a Facebook ad, you can segment, and if you want to target 21 to 24-year-olds, if you want to target just women, if you want to target just men, if you want to target a certain zip code, you do that. And so I think there's value in that kind of marketing, being able to segment. The broadcast idea is something that is still in the works, but if you walk through how it would work, picture you using an app and actually being able to opt into, let's say you like men's fashion, right? And you like men's fashion, and you can opt in for a broadcast from men's fashion from businesses within a certain radius. You can either opt in or not opt in. I think it would be a good test case to see if people actually choose to get a broadcast once a day or whatever the case may be from them. And that would add value to that company, and that would add value to you as well. So I think there's something there. It's just a matter of figuring out the right model, disenchant them to the app.
We have time for one more question.
Hello, good presentation. I'm wondering about your downloads. I believe you started in January of this year. You loaded up to the App Store.
Correct.
And you mentioned you have about 1,200 downloads so far.
Correct.
Are you getting any data of any different state that's doing better than another?
Well, the business plan, we are focusing just on actually Texas and specifically Dallas. And we expanded a little bit to Austin and to College Station because we don't want to shotgun it out to the US, and that's not the game plan. It's more we have to saturate highly populated areas for it to be beneficial. So we're focusing on, right now the absolute focus is Texas. If we can saturate Texas, that would be awesome. So our focus is primarily Dallas. Secondly, Austin, because people in Austin seem to be very quick adopters. And then College Station, because, well, there's nothing else to do with College Station besides. So I think that's part of the reason why Texas A&M has been a little more aggressive at adopting the application to kind of get things done or have some fun. But yeah, so we're not seeking to do a broadcast. We're trying to really make it focused. And initially, the reason why you can't log in really quickly, we did it on purpose because we wanted to not make it like Yik Yak, for example. Yik Yak, you just kind of, I think you just push a button and you're logged in all anonymously. We wanted people to actually put information onto their profile. So it's not just like you log in with Facebook and you're in. You have to put a little bit more about yourself. So we wanted to have people be themselves and interact. So that piece is going well. Now I think it's time to make it frictionless so that it can go faster.
And finally, can you expand on what the community can do for you?
Sure. The community we're growing, so what we need more than anything else is users, obviously. The second thing is funding. And the third thing would be feedback. So we want this to be a creation from people and how they want it to be. There is not anything written on stone as far as how the future of it. And feedback is very important to us so that everybody finds it as a useful utility and start using the app. And obviously, if anybody wants to fund us, we're ready to go. So let us know.
One more round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out. We have one more person who would like to share some words with you. 1 Million Cups is not possible without our wonderful sponsors. So if you could please stand up and welcome Lindsay with RevTech to the stage.
Hello, good morning. First of all, I want to say thank you to the deck and 1 Million Cups for having us. We love participating in events like this. My name is Lindsay Ellis. I'm the operations manager for RevTech. We are a seed fund and venture accelerator, officing and managing our program right here out of the Dallas Entrepreneur Center. We focus on technology and product innovation for the restaurant, retail, and hospitality industries. I know that you guys are probably ready to get to networking, so I'm going to keep this real quick. We got 3 short things that we're doing. One is we are hosting our 4th annual Tech Trends in Restaurant and Retail here next Wednesday, a week from today, at the Addison Conference Center, and we are so excited to announce that we just are sold out. So I'm hoping that you guys register for the event. It's going to be an amazing time. It's our 4th annual event, and it is always great. We're having Hal Brierly, the founder of Loyalty, basically, creator of the American Airlines Advantage program, speaking at the event, so it's going to be great fun. I hope you register. Secondly, our managing director, David Matthews, is going to be presenting on a panel for the Southwest Venture Forum put on by Cox School of Business. He's going to be sitting on a panel with the deck's own Trey Bowles and John Shapiro, the venture director at UT Dallas. So that's going to be an exciting event. That's tomorrow morning, so be sure to check that out. And finally, we are currently accepting applications to our program. This is going to be the 5th year we've run our program right here in the deck. We operate our open application process from now until May 1st. So if you have an exciting idea or innovative product for the restaurant, retail, hospitality industries, be sure to come and find me after I'm done speaking, and we'll love to talk to you more about that. We run a small cohort once a year between June through September. And last year, we are very excited to say that 80% of the companies that came through our program raised a round of funding either during or immediately after. So we have a pretty good track record. Thank you. We have a pretty good track record going on. So if you'd like to know more about what we do, please come find me after the event, and have a great rest of your morning.
All right, everybody, that wraps up 1 Million Cups. If you're interested in sponsorship, please talk to me or to Lauren at the camera, or email us at dallas@1millioncups.com. Have a great day.